Assalamu alaikum, brothers and sisters. My name is Shourouq Routher, and I'm going to speak to you today about Lady Zainab bint Ali. I work in youth development as a program director in a nonprofit organization in San Francisco, and I'm an educator, and I am also blessed to have the opportunity to be a mu'adhina with the Women Mosque. So It was quite a challenge trying to reflect on Lady Zainab within the limited time that we have, and so I wanted to highlight that she is a leader who we often speak of in the context of Karbala and her journey in supporting her brother Imam Hussein, and the patience and perseverance and leadership that she demonstrated during Karbala and afterwards. However, I wanted to highlight aspects of her personality that are not often spoken of and share reflections of them. Lady Zainab was born in the 5th year after Hijrah, and she lived for 57 years of community service and leadership, and carrying on the message of Lady Fatima and Imam Ali and Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, through all the hats that she wore and the services that she provided her family and community. She has been described by several names, such as Al-Aqila, which means a woman of wisdom and intellect, the Alima, a woman of knowledge, the Abida, the worshipper, the Fadila, which is a woman of virtue, and she was even described as a Siddiqat al-Sughra, just for her Siddiqat al-Kubra as her mom, and because she followed the footsteps of her mom, Lady Fatima, peace be upon her, alayhi salam. So what stood out to me, despite her role in Karbala, is trying to reflect on what went into, as a youth development, as a youth worker, what went into the nurturing of this woman as a young lady, and how can we provide that to our youth. And so just examining her life, looking at the context that she came from. She grew up in the household of the Prophet, with a mom and father that provided a healthy relationship. Lady Fatima and Ali were known for the love and compassion they had for one another and for the community. So she had an example of a healthy environment and healthy parents, and also an example of activism that her parents provided, and volunteerism, and charity work, and all that work that they've done. And so it inspires me to also to try my best to provide that for the youth I work with, and that to remember that that's what our young girls need in the future, to prosper and grow. And the other aspect in her environment was that she was given not only knowledge that she acquired from being in that scholarly house, but she was actually given opportunities to exercise that knowledge and to practice. And so her mother, Lady Fatima, and her used to lead. They were educators who led halaqas and sessions for the women, and they were historians confirmed in both Shia and Sunni school of thoughts that they were sources of authority, and she was a source of authority of answering questions, explaining the Quran, answering things. She was also considered she was known to be the muwathaqa, which means the trustworthy one, and so her narration of hadith were trusted by all Muslims, and to me it's very empowering as an educator, and to just kind of think of her as a provider, like a credible source of information, and so she was that. So having given this trust and having given this opportunity to serve the community, and growing up in this beautiful, harmonious household, she was able to develop a spirituality, I think, and the strength that allowed her to do what inspires me the most in her personality, which is her adaptability to wear different hats whenever was needed, to be a nurturer, a supporter of her brother, a caretaker of the ill in Karbala, and to adopt a growth mindset where when she had an opportunity to speak up, she took a space where she was very vulnerable, being taken as a prisoner of war, and changed it into a platform for her to speak up and inspire others. And that, to me, is very powerful and inspiring, because we can't always control the circumstances that we're thrown in. But if we work on our spirituality and our strength, then we can take that vulnerability and use it as and rely on the foundation of working on ourselves and voice our thoughts and opinions, and hopefully we can provide that to our young girls and to each other as sisters. And Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.